Hey Fredonia Hill, this is Zak Tharp, and this is my application to be an armor bearer. What has led me to apply for this is I've seen some of my friends learn and grow through being an armor bearer. I've also seen lives changed through their other leadership roles that I've held, both in and outside of Fredonia Hill. This past season, I was a life group leader alongside Peyton, and really enjoyed that with the college guys and stuff. So really got to see a lot of discipleship, a lot of sitting down and having coffee or Jimmy John's and talking through just what it means to be a disciple. Other areas that I've led out in is as a Bible study leader for camp. I've done that for the past 4 summers, and I've also been a worship leader both from youth group and in clear camps as well. Outside of ministry, I've held leadership in SFA 101 on campus, so I've been in charge of about 25 students and got to spend a semester with them going through what school looks like, but really being intentional with my time with them. I'm also was involved in college in the National Honor Society for Communication, as well as the Communication Club, and held some leadership roles there. My salvation story begins at an early age. At 6 years old, I asked Jesus to be the Lord of my life while I was watching the TV, of all things. I was watching a preacher, and in my living room, by myself, I asked Jesus to save me from my sins. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I do know that my grandma was very, very purposeful in her sharing Bible stories with me early on and showing me who Jesus was. Out of that, I asked God to save me, and then I ran in the other room and I told my mom about it. As far as spiritual development goes, that's really where the buck stopped for me. I grew up in a home where I had a dad who was pretty abusive and not a great spiritual leader, and a mom who worked a lot and really won bread for us. Out of that, it wasn't until about 6th grade that I started going to church. And when I started going to church, the church that I grew up in was helpful in a lot of ways. It gave me a sense of community and belonging, but really put me in leadership where I didn't have the character to sustain it at all yet. Didn't know very much at all. Hadn't grown, hadn't really been discipled yet. So it wasn't until my junior year of high school where I'd already been in the place of speaking in front of people and leading worship, and that I really began to walk with the Lord, and I really began to lay down a lot of just junk in my life and follow Jesus, really grow in who God made me to be. Out of that, and while I was a senior in high school, I began to walk with my first youth pastor, and he grew me as far as started to study scripture more and began to think about the big questions of who is God and why is he here, what does he care about our redemption. So out of that, it was on to college and with Clear during the summers, which grew me a lot as far as being a leader grows. But so here we go. Some of my strengths. I believe I do things with excellence. Whether it's academics or ministry, I try to do my best, and I can remember a lot of information. Sometimes it may be a little more useless than not, but I really want to take the things that I've studied and I know in ministry and theology and really find a practical way to use them. Another strength that I have is I really do love studying theology. I like reading dead guys and reading a lot of leadership, stuff like that, and I want to have a place where I can walk that out, and I believe the Armor Bearer program would be a great place to do that. Weaknesses. My weaknesses come out of my strengths. Wanting to do things with excellence, sometimes there's a little bit of perfectionism that comes in. So when I want to make things go well and produce things that look good, or produce a paper that is well written, whatever, there comes a point of really struggling with trying to be my own perfection when we know that our perfection comes from Christ, and He's our aim. Another one of my weaknesses is that I really am a jack of all trades when it comes to ministry. I've done a lot of things in ministry and not been real focused in any one area for a long time. I believe that although that can be kind of a weakness in the specific ministries overall, it may prove. And the last thing, right, is the spheres of influences that I see, and I believe it's where I really want to grow, and it's discipleship. It's sitting across from another college student over coffee, sitting across from a youth at a church camp, or sitting across from a 90-year-old man like the one I met this summer, and just hearing his story and hearing about his life. I believe the Lord's given me a heart for discipleship and a heart for the church, so I want to walk those things out with other people at Fredonia Hill. So. The area of ministry that I feel called to in this moment is the church. In this season, I've walked through 1 Timothy and the qualification Paul lays out for Timothy for elders and deacons and different ministries of the church. But in the last chapter, he talks about how Timothy flee these things, the irreverent babble of the day and being caught up in money and all of this stuff. And he says, pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, and gentleness. And I believe as an armor bearer under the lead pastor, I'll learn how to pursue these things. I'll learn how to walk out in godliness, some leadership, and learn how to be steadfast when things don't go the way that you think that they will. Why do I want to take a year and invest into the Armor Bearer program? I believe first, the people of Fredonia Hill have invested into me, and I want to return that to the church. The second thing is I want to grow. I want to seek some direction in what it looks like to pastor a church or enter ministry and those kinds of things. And I think that this would be a great place to learn those things. And the third thing is I want to see lives transformed through this. This is why we do what we do for the church, is to see people know Jesus. So if I can take a year of my time and really invest it into walking alongside the lead pastor of Fredonia Hill, that people will know the name of God out of that, to make his name famous, and to allow their hearts and minds to be transformed to worship the God of the universe. That's my heart, that's my desire, and I believe being an armor bearer would be a great opportunity to walk those things out.
Let us shout.